What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Johnny K Picks. And in this video, I'll be going over my full card picks and predictions, along with the bets that I'm looking at so far for UFC Vegas 79 Fiziev versus Gamrot. Now, first things first, as always, please hit that like button for me. Hit the subscribe button if you're new or if you just haven't yet. Also, click those notifications too, so you know when any live streams come up between me, Cody, and Patrick, anything like that. When my videos come out too as well, so that way you're notified right away. And also, please leave some comments below. It helps the algorithm out with my videos. Who you liked this week, how you did last week, how you thought the Valentina fight really should have ended instead of being a draw. All that stuff put in there. I will respond as always. But let's get right to UFC. I should say Noche UFC. So let's get right into it. I can't wait to talk about it, to be honest. So um, my picks, I ended up going 7-2-2 because of the no contest, the draw. I picked Holland wrong, and I also picked Jasmine wrong. So 7-2-2. On my bets, I had 6 bets. I ended up going 4-1-1 because of the Valentina draw. So I got my money back there. So went 4-1 basically, and went up 4.7 or 4.6 units profit. So did very good on the night. Would have done even better if the judges knew how to score rounds. So let's jump right into this because I'm still a little salty about this. First fight of the night, Josephine versus Man. Josephine looked great. Very good striking, very good grappling, very good wrestling. Dominated the whole fight. Only thing missing was a finish, but she was trying, she was trying, she was trying. She just didn't get it. So I think she's very good. If she can get that finishing ability under her belt, I mean, she's going to be good. Charlie Campbell versus Alex Reyes. I think we all knew that was going to happen the way it did. Charlie Campbell with the knockout. Alex Reyes, I don't know why he even came back. Maybe he had one fight left on his contract or something like that. But 6 years away is tough to come back right away against someone like Charlie Campbell who has the power in his hands. Another good fight here. Tracy Cortez versus Jasmine. Very close fight. I did think Tracy Cortez won the fight, but I didn't think she won 30-27. I thought Jasmine won round 2. The other two rounds were close, but Cortez did show some good boxing, good striking. She did land. She was the quicker striker too, but Jasmine was landing some powerful shots as well. So personally, I really wish Jasmine would have went in heavy with her wrestling early on, but she didn't. She didn't really start doing it until round 2. And that could have slowed down Tracy a little bit more, but Tracy did show good gas in the third round too. So, like I said, good fight overall, but Tracy did win that fight. No contest with Edgar and Daniel Lacerda. I can kind of see why Chris Toyoni did stop it prematurely because he did lift the arm of Daniel. He kept it up, and then all of a sudden it did go limp. Now, should he have stopped it? No, because if I was Chris, I'd have meant that whole body needs to go limp, not just the arm. Like he needs to just go like that. Like he didn't do that. It was just the arm. But unfortunate event. It did cost me one of my legs in my parlay because I did have the fight doesn't start round 3, and I think that probably would have happened one way or another. Um, Kopilov versus Josh Fremd. Like I said on my streams, I thought Kopilov was my most confident pick of the card. He definitely showed it. Very good striking. He was piecing up Josh Fremd. He actually busted his nose up in the very last seconds of the first round, and it was just all Roman after that. So good win from Roman. I think he's I don't want to say a problem in the division, maybe not like a champion, but he is very good. So we'll see what happens with him in the top, 15 maybe if he gets there up there. Lupi Godinez versus Elise Reed. Guess what, guys? Lupi Godinez showed wrestling. She showed good striking, and she was dominant. I loved it. Guess what? We can bet Lupi again because maybe something triggered in her that she needs to start using that wrestling like she has. Dominated the whole fight. I am shocked that Elise Reed survived round 1. That was insane. She got dropped. She got arm barred. And then she also was in an arm triangle. So good toughness from Elise Reed, but she just couldn't take it after almost 2 full rounds of that. So Lupi looked great. Kyle Nelson versus Padilla. This was the parlay buster I thought was going to happen, and then it worked out just like I thought it was going to. I thought Nelson would over time take over the fight and win the minutes. He did. Padilla did win round one, but round two and round three was Nelson. I don't know why somebody gave Nelson a 30-27. That was wrong. Padilla did win the first round. He landed the better shots. But as the fight went on, Padilla didn't, he looked a little like he was slowing down. The volume wasn't there. He didn't try for takedowns or nothing. He just accepted what Kyle Nelson did, and Kyle Nelson just outstruck him and got the win. So good win from him. Zell Huber versus Christos Giagos. Very fun fight too. I was very confident in Zell Huber. He made it look good. First round was a little close, but the second round hit and Zell Huber was taking off with his striking, and he got the anaconda choke. So that was a good win from him. I didn't expect a submission, but good win. Rosas Jr. versus Terrence Mitchell. Rosas Jr. all day, 54 seconds. That's all we're going to say. Terrence Mitchell should not be in the UFC. Good win from Rosas. He did knock out or knock down Mitchell, and he was stiff, so he got some power in his hands. So good job. Very fun fight here. Jack Della versus Kevin Holland. I thought it was a very close fight. I thought it should have went to split decision. I am not upset with how it went down and the judges here. I did ever so slightly think that Holland might have edged it out. I thought he landed some better shots, but I'm not complaining whatsoever. It was a very close fight. I don't want to say boring, but it was a little boring at times, but Jack had seemed like he had some tough time connecting with Kevin, but Kevin wasn't doing a lot either. So it's like, it was one of those where it's like, I don't know which side, but it is what it is. Good fight. Good win from Jack. Not going to take anything away from him. It was a very close fight, and that's why I went to split. All right. This is it, guys. I don't understand why this is a draw, because I thought Valentina clearly won 3-2. Valentina won round one. She won round three for sure. Grasso won round two for sure because of the knockdown. But there could even be an argument, actually. Other than that knockdown, she didn't really do too much in that round. Valentina controlled her the rest of that round, but I'll give her round two. So there's that. Round four seems to be the closest round. So round five, obviously, it was very close too. Grasso probably edged it out at the end. But round four is the close round that everyone seems to be hung up on here. And I personally think Valentina got that round. She did cut her open up here on her eye. So she landed that good elbow. And I know Grasso landed like 3 or 4 knees, but those knees didn't seem like they did too much. Like, the damage was done by Valentina, and it was a very close round. And you got to go with damage over anything else. And the damage was Valentina. So I had Valentina round four. Two of the judges also, I guess, saw it that way too. But the problem here is round five, 10-8 to Grasso, which is ridiculous. That is the weakest 10-8 I think I've ever seen. Loopy round one is a 10-8. There is no way Grasso looked like Loopy in round one against Reed. No way. So to me, Valentina should have won this fight 3-2. I will die on that hill. You can put in the comments what you believe, but you're not changing my mind. I'll go rewatch it again if I have to, and I will say again, Valentina won round four, and she won this fight 3-2. Either way, I don't even know if they're going to do a trilogy here. Do we really want to see one? Because honestly, right now, I don't want to. And it's not because of the fight or the fighters. It's because of the judging and the UFC. I just don't know what's going to happen. And I don't even know if I want to, bet or watch it again. So who cares? So that's where I'm at right now. I might change, in a week or two, but it's still fresh and salt in the wounds. So to me, I had a pretty big bet on Valentina. And I don't want to say it because I was biased, but I really I'm being unbiased here. Like, I thought Valentina won 3-2. So like I said, overall, a fun card, just some unfortunate things with the judging and the referee with a couple fights. But that was Noche UFC, but we'll get to my bets here. So like I said, the first bet, I had Valentina for 2 units. It just pushed, unfortunately. I had Jasmine. I lost that one for underdog, but all my parlays hit. I had Kopilov and Zellhuber. I had Campbell by KO and the over in the Padilla fight. Fight starts round 2 in the Jack fight. Jack Della. Fight starts round 3 in the Valentina fight. And then the fight doesn't start round 3 in the Rosas fight. And then I did have the Edgar and Lacerda fight. Doesn't start round 3 too, but that just voided out because of the early stoppage. And then I also hit the Godinez fight to start round two, which was very, very sweaty. And then the Josephine fight over 1.5, which was also pretty sweaty too. So I thought those were being pretty easy, but those were sweaty, but they hit. And like I said, 4.6 units profit right there. So we're going to keep it going for the break. Hopefully we can get, 5 or 6, which I should have had about 6 this card, but it's all good. I don't want to brag or anything or be salty, but I should have had 6 units on this card. Anyways, we'll get to that here. Let's go to the fights for UFC 79. There's been a few switcheroos, if you want to say. Collier was supposed to fight, I believe, Johnny Walker's brother. Bruno Silva and Jourdain fight got canceled because Jourdain wasn't cleared. Some of these fights withdrew, and I think they're pushing them back. Malkoun was supposed to fight somebody else, and Malkoun fight. Both guys are actually going to be on short notice, so it's one of those fights where it wasn't really supposed to be that fight, but it ended up being like that. We saw a couple of those last card. But the first fight we got here is going to be Montserrat Rendon versus Tamaris Vidal. Rendon is 5-0, 34 years old, 5'8", 68-inch reach. And we got Vidal is 7-1, 25 years old, 5'6", with a 68-inch reach as well. So Rendon is making her UFC debut. She is 34 years old, though, and she hasn't really fought the best of competition, but she's got solid grappling. She likes to push forward. She's very strong. Good, okay takedowns. Her striking isn't the best, but she's durable and she can lose some minutes. But like she's mainly going to be a grappler trying to get this fight to the mat. Vidal, solid grappler as well. She's got very good submission. She's always looking for a finish when she's on the mat. Her striking is just okay. It can be wild at times, but she does have power. She's very tough and durable too. So with this fight, I got to go with Vidal. I don't trust Rendon in with the competition that she's fought. I think Vidal is more dangerous on the mat and on the feet, and I think she's just slicker. She has the better reversals, transitions, submissions, anything, and on the feet too. I think she'll be able to land maybe some spinning shots, land some good shots too. Jumping knees. I know she did that in her last fight against Ramona Pasquale, which I know it's not the greatest fighter, but I mean Rendon, she's 5-0. Like she's fought very low level competition, all going to decision. She's not really even a finisher. It's all decisions. So I'm gonna say Vidal wins. Um, I'll say by decision, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's a knockout. I just haven't seen Rendon get knocked out yet. She hasn't been finished. So I think she is tough. She's durable enough, but Vidal should be winning the control time and landing the better shots. Bets, I like Vidal. I know it's a little risky for the money line. Minus 250 is not that bad of a price. I would stay away from the over unders. I don't really have a good tell on one way or another, but I think the play, if you want to, would be Vidal. Next fight is going to be Mizuki Inoue. I'm going to guess on that one versus Hannah Goldy. Mizuki is 14-6, 29 years old, 5'3", with a 64-inch reach, and Goldy is 6-3, 31 years old, 5'4", with a 61-inch reach. So this is a weird fight overall. And Mizuki, though, she's a good striker. She throws tons of volume. The thing with her, though, a red flag, if you want to say, she hasn't fought in 3 years. And I do not like fighters when they have long layoffs, but I guess it's because of injuries. I don't know if it was just one injury or if it was multiple or setback, something like that. I didn't really look too much into it, but she is a solid fighter. She's not really the greatest finisher or have power in her hands, but she's a volume striker and she can wrestle and grapple too. Goldie, though, mainly a striker also too, but she can wrestle and grapple. She's very strong if she gets in the clinch, but she throws tons of volume, good cardio, but she can be hittable at times. And we've seen her get rocked a couple times in her last couple fights against Molly McCann with a spinning elbow. And yeah, it just depends. I don't think, Mizuki's going to be able to do what Molly did. But for me, this fight is a toss up. But I do think the better fighter is going to be Mizuki. But that 3-year layoff is it's very concerning. You don't know how she's going to look in the first round. It's probably going to take her a round to get the ring rust off. And then Hannah is doing some other stuff on the side of social media, if you want to say, not to say that's a bad thing, but it doesn't always look good. So I don't know how like dedicated she is with her training and stuff too. So this is just a weird fight overall. I'm gonna go with Mizuki. I think she is, like I said, the better fighter, but I don't trust it. I'm gonna stay far away from betting. So I'll say Mizuki by decision. Bets if you want to do anything though, maybe the over here, maybe like fight to start round 3, something like that. Don't pick a side. Don't pick a side unless you just really like Goldy to get this one done because that's the underdog. Dog or pass or just bet the overs. Next one's gonna be Jake Collier versus Mohammed Usman. Collier is 13-9, 34 years old, 6'3", 78.5-inch reach. Usman 9-2, 34 years old as well, 6'2" with a 79-inch reach. This is going to be a fun one here. We got Collier. He's a solid striker for the heavyweight division. He's got pretty good cardio, good volume. He's not really the biggest KO guy, like one touch knockout power. And he's also really like not the most durable guy either. He's been knocked out like 4 or 5 times, but um, and he has fought the better competition for sure. But he's just not like, I don't know. You saw in the Chris Barnett fight, and I always think about that. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. I mean, he probably should have won against Orlovsky, but the Barnett KO it always rings in my head like that's wrong. And Boudet's pretty good loss, but it's by decision. But Usman's super strong. He's got solid striking. If you want to say most of it's like big power shots, he throws a lot of looping shots, but not really like the highest volume. He has shown some good wrestling and takedowns in a couple of his wins here lately. He most of his takedowns though he's like out muscling the guys, or if the guys are tired, he's getting those takedowns rather easy. But he's got good top control and he's got good ground and pound when he's on top. He kind of lays and prays a little bit, if you want to say, but it gets the job done. And that's it. And that's it with this fight. I think Usman should be able to get those takedowns on Collier. Collier's takedown defense isn't the greatest, and Usman's going to be stronger than Collier for sure. So the way Collier is going to have to win is just out by him, outstrike him, and out cardio him. And I don't know if he's going to be able to. Usman looked a little tired in his last fight against Justin Tafa, but he was able to get those takedowns and stay on top for like 2 or 3 minutes each time, each round. And I think that's what he can do. And he can land, he can potentially even get a knockout on the feet. Like I said, Collier's been knocked out 4 times or so, 5 maybe. And I like Usman to get it done. I think the line is a little bit under 170, so it's not really a bad look. I'm going to watch that line. If it gets a little bit lower to closer to a pick'em, I might just single bet Usman. Not super confident, but I do think the style that he has, he should be able to get this one done. I'm going to say by decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a knockout on the feet or like a ground and pound knockout later in the fight. Bets though, you can look at Usman money line, or you can maybe look at the over, see where it's set at. If it's set at 2.5, maybe stay away. If it's set at 1.5, I love the over in that. Like hit that over 1.5 all day if that's what they set that as. Next one's going to be Jake Malkoun versus Cody Brundage. Jacob Malkoun is 7-2, 28 years old, 5'9", 73-inch reach. Cody Brundage, 8-5, 29 years old, 6 foot, 72-inch reach. Malkoun is a very good grappler. He's got good takedowns. His striking is pretty good. He has some power in his hands. He can be hittable at times, though. He's not the most technical striker, if you want to say, but he does have good cardio, good chain wrestling. He always goes for the takedowns if he decides to. Brundage, we know Brundage, who he is in his last fight. He's a solid, okay, well-rounded fighter. He's not awful, but he's not amazing anywhere. He's just okay striking, okay wrestling. His takedown defense isn't good. His fight IQ is not good. He makes very questionable decisions, as we saw in his last fight against Cedric Dumas. And he doesn't do well if he's taken down, he's on his back. He does not do well. Rodolfo is an amazing grappler, though. Also, Cedric was able to get him down a lot and control him, trying to go for submissions. Even Ola Zaychuk was able to get him down and get him out of a ground and pound knockout. So I got to go Malkoun here all day. I can't trust Cody Brundage, especially after his last fight against Dumas, where literally after the first round on the stool, it looked like he just wanted to give up and get out of the ring, like he was done. I know it was on short notice or super short notice for him, but guess what? This fight's on short notice for him as well. What's he going to do? He's probably going to be okay in the first round. He's going to start to fade as the fight goes on. Malkoun doesn't fade. If he's tired, he doesn't show it at least, and he's going to continue to chain wrestle and chain wrestle. And I wouldn't be shocked if we saw 3 or 4 jumping guillotines from Cody Brundage here, and I think Malkoun will be able to clearly be okay with that and not get submitted there. So give me Malkoun here all day. I know he's minus 485 right now, and it might seem a lot, but I do think that's the side. I think he's going to be able to get this one done. I think he's safe for a parlay piece. It's just the first round you have to worry about for Cody Brundage, and I don't think he's that dangerous. I don't think he has that KO power. He did knock out Tresean Gore with that little overhand strike, which was crazy, and then he got very lucky in the Dalcha fight. So to me, I think Malkoun should be able to win this one pretty much all day. I'll say by decision, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's a late, like second or third round finish either. If Cody Brundage does decide to say, "Hey, I don't feel like being in there anymore, so you can submit me or ground and pound, knockout me." That's Malkoun money line parlay piece. I think it's safe. I know it's not sexy. It's my 485, but if you have a play that you like and you want to get a little bit more value, a little bit or closer to plus money, I think this is a good one to use. Next one is going to be Tim Means versus Andre Fialho. Tim Means 32, 15, and 1, 39 years old, 6'2, 75-inch reach. Fialho, 16 and 7, 29 years old, 6 foot, 74-inch reach. So one of these guys is going to end their 3-fight losing streak. They both have been on skids here. So, but Tim Means, we all know who Tim Means is. He's a UFC veteran. He's been in tons of fights. He's very solid everywhere, well-rounded, good striking, good elbows, good grappling, good submissions. Wrestling, takedowns aren't really the greatest, but he can do that if he wants to. He throws good volume. He's normally durable. He's been knocked out twice in his career, and that's pretty good. But his problem is he's been submitted a ton. But luckily for him, Fialho is not a grappler at all. He's going to come in and stand and bang. He's 39 years old, though. A lot of miles on him. So remember that. Fialho, very good striker with power. He's got good boxing. He does throw some good leg kicks, but mainly he just boxes. He pushes forward, good volume. He likes to make fights more of a brawl than a more of a technical kickboxing fight. But he can be hittable, and we've seen him get rocked a couple times. Against Joaquin Buckley, against Muslim Salikov, and also Jake Matthews. So his last 3 fights, he's been getting rocked and knocked out, knockout, knockout, and knockout. So 3 knockouts in a row. That's not a good look here. So there's just red flags everywhere here. Red flags, red flags. For me, Fialho was round 1 or bust. That's basically what he's been. I think he's won in round 1 against Vanderkamp, which was he kind of got rocked in there, and I think he beat. Maybe that was in the second round, Baez, but he did knock him out. Knockout or bust for Fialho. So to me, can Tim Means survive round 1? Does he have that veteran savvy to get this fight to the mat? Can he stay at range? He's going to be a little bit taller, a little bit. I think the reach is about the same. Yeah. So I don't know who to pick here. I'll be honest. I'm going to go with Fialho. And I know it's probably going to be a bad pick because in my gut, it's telling me to pick Tim Means here. But I don't know. For me, I can't trust Tim Means at his stage in his career right now. He's 39 years old. He's got a lot of miles on him. And I do think Fialho is going to come out there. He's going to push forward. And it's only going to take 1 or 2 clean shots to drop Tim Means. And I don't think Tim Means has that power in his hands anymore to knock out Fialho. Fialho's getting knocked out by very good, powerful strikers. Buckley, Salikov, Jake Matthews. I mean, normally Jake Matthews isn't a finisher on the feet, but that fight he looked amazing. So I don't know. He's never looked that good before. I will say that. But I'm gonna go with Fialho to get it done in the first round by knockout. I'm not very confident in this bet or pick. I'm not betting this fight. The only bet that I would do here is the under, because if I think it's Fialho knockout round one, and if Tim Means survives round one, I think he can maybe wrap up like a guillotine or just outgas Fialho in the second or third round and get it done there. So look at the unders in this fight. Or if you like Tim Means, I don't mind anybody taking a chance on the dog here. I think it's a pretty decent shot, but I wouldn't touch Fialho unless it's like the bet that I would do is either Fialho knockout or knockout round one or two, something like that. Don't do the money line. Doesn't make sense. This fight's probably not going to go to decision. And if it does, probably going to lean Tim Means way. Next fight's going to be a fun one here. Miles Johns versus Dan Argueta. Miles Johns, 13-2, 29 years old, 5'7", 66-inch reach. Argueta, 9-1, 30 years old, 5'7", 68-inch reach. So let me get here. Miles Johns, though, well-rounded fighter. He, when he first started in the UFC, he was more so known for wrestling. Then he started becoming a boxer, and now he's just well-rounded. He showed a little bit of wrestling in his last fight, which is good to see. But a lot of times, people just fall in love with their striking. I think he was one of those guys, and he needs to get back to the roots a little bit where he can be well-rounded. But he's got good takedowns. His takedown defense is good too. He does fade as the fight goes on, so maybe that's why he doesn't wrestle as much as he used to. And he could be outworked on the feet as the fight goes on too. Argueta, very good wrestler and grappler himself. He's got good takedowns. He's very strong, good top control, good submissions, as you saw in his last fight against Ronnie Lawrence. He was basically dominating him the whole fight it only lasted one round, but again, another premature stoppage. I think that was by Keith Peterson, where he took his arm and like let it go and it like tapped, and then he just that was one of the funniest things ever. But unfortunate for Argueta though. Um, but he's still very good. Striking, I mean, his striking is okay. I would give Johns the slight edge in the striking department, but I think the grappling department is going to be Argueta. And I think the takedowns and the strength and the durability and the cardio is going to all go towards Argueta. And I'm going to go with him. I like his style. Um, I I think it's first round. Maybe Johns looks good with his striking, but I think as the fight goes on, Argueta's going to pick up the pace. He's one of those junkyard dogs, as you like to say. Um, Always going to be pushing forward, always going to go for takedowns. And I think eventually he'll get Miles Johns down to the ground, control him, maybe even get a submission, because this guy is relentless. And I was very impressed with him against Ronnie Lawrence. And I think he can only go up from there. So gonna go with Argueta to win. I'll say by late third round submission when Johns is a little bit gassed out and he just gets taken down, and maybe like a head and arm choke or something like that. Bets Argueta money line -180 range, I believe it is right now. I think that's a solid play. You can maybe look at the over, but I don't know, man. I wouldn't touch the over on this one. I like Argueta. I think that's the way to do it if you want to bet. Let's see. Charles Jourdain versus Ricardo Ramos. Jourdain is 14-6, 14-6-1, 27 years old, 5'9", 69-inch reach. And Ramos is 16-4, 28 years old, 5'9", with a 72-inch reach. So this fight is also going to be very fun to watch. Jourdain, as we know, fan favorite, very explosive striker, loves to push forward, loves to be in brawls. He's durable. He's got good cardio. The problem with him, though, is takedown defense is so bad. Anyone can take this guy down, and he plays off his back. He doesn't really try to work himself up, and it could be a problem for him. He loses minutes that way, but he's very explosive and dangerous on the feet, like I said. Ramos, well-rounded fighter who's also very explosive on the feet. He's very good on the mat as well. We've seen lately, though, the explosiveness on the feet. He's got good takedowns. He's got good submissions. A lot of his wins have actually come by submission. So he is a good grappler and good submission. He's durable too. He's been KO'd a couple times, but nothing to like be scared about. Jourdain's only been finished once, and that was by submission. So both guys durable. This is going to be a very fun fight, but I'm going to lean the underdog here. Actually, I think he's more well-rounded. I think the striking may cancel each other out, but Ramos is going to have a clear wrestling and grappling advantage, And I see Ramos eventually getting this fight to the mat and basically controlling this fight and winning either by decision or maybe a late submission. But I'll go ahead and say Ramos wins by decision. Both guys, like I said, are tough and durable. You can look at, I mean, both money lines look good. So if you like Jourdain, I don't blame you. Slight favorite. Also, I like the over here. It's probably gonna be set at, if it's set at 1.5 for some crazy reason, I'm gonna hit that over. But it'll probably be 2.5. And I still like the over in that. It's gonna be sweaty, but I still think it hits. And I'll go with the dog. I like him. I think he's just a little bit more well-rounded, like I said, especially on the mat. But should be a very, very fun fight. Next fight should be another fun one. Brian Battle versus AJ Fletcher. Brian Battle is 9-2, 29 years old, 6'1, 77-inch reach. Fletcher, 10-2, 26 years old, 5'10, 67-inch reach. So clearly that reach advantage of 10 inches is very noticeable here. But Brian Battle is very well rounded. He's got good striking. He's got good power in his hands. He's got good kicks, as we've seen. Good grappling, good wrestling if he wants to go for takedowns. He's durable, good cardio. The only problem with him, again, his takedown defense is a little questionable. Now, I'm not saying it's awful, but it's not great. I hope he worked on it. But other than that, like, he's very well rounded, very well rounded. AJ Fletcher is a very good wrestler. He's got good takedowns. He does have good power in his hands, but his striking isn't the most technical, if you want to say. He mainly uses his striking to set up takedowns. He can be hittable on the feet, especially as the fight goes on. If he uses a lot of wrestling early, he does fade. He doesn't gas out, but you can tell he slows down. The takedowns get a little sloppier. And also his takedown defense isn't great either. And I think Brian Battle can get some takedowns too. But for me, I love Brian Battle in this spot. Actually, I just think he's the better overall fighter. I think he's the better striker. That 10 inches of reach is going to be crazy. Um, and maybe Brian Battle can wrap up some kind of guillotine or choke, because Fletcher's going to be shooting takedowns after takedowns, probably. And I think eventually Fletcher will start to slow down, and Brian Battle should be able to take over this fight. I'll say this fight goes to decision, but I do think Brian Battle will win a clear decision. But I think Brian Battle can get a knockout, and I also think he can get a submission here too. So that's why I like the money line here for Brian Battle. I think it's around minus 180 range too. Fletcher, to me, he's going to have to wrestle for 3 rounds to win. And I just don't know if he's going to be able or has the cardio to do that. And Brian Battle's always going to be working to get back up. He's not going to play off his back for 3 minutes. So to me, I like Brian Battle here a lot. You can look at the over as well, but I think the play is Brian Battle money line. Next one's going to be Marina Rodriguez versus Michelle Waterson. We'll say Gomez too. Marina is 16-3-2, 36 years old, 5'6", with a 65-inch reach. And Michelle is 18-11, 37 years old, 5'3", with a 62-inch reach. So as you see here, Rodriguez is coming off of 2 losses. Michelle is coming off of 3 losses. And look at that. Marina Rodriguez beat her 2 years ago. So spoiler alert, who you think I'm going to pick here. Rodriguez, very good technical striker on the feet. Her power, pretty good power. I wouldn't say it's knockout power, but her knockouts come from like counters, like that her opponents don't see coming. And her takedown defense isn't the greatest, but it's not awful. She When she does get taken down and controlled, it's against very good grapplers or wrestlers. And Michelle Waterson, I believe, is not that. She's just more so a striker. But she is well rounded, solid striking. She can use her wrestling and grappling. We saw that in her last fight against. I know she did it against Amanda, but she got caught with a guillotine. She tried against Pinero. Honestly, that was a very, very close fight that I thought Michelle might have won that fight, but it was very close. Anyways, both ladies, they're in the tail end of their careers. Unfortunately, they're 36, 37, coming off of 2 and 3 fight losing skids here. But I like Rodriguez. Like I said, spoiler alert, I think she's going to be able to beat Michelle again. Better striking on the feet. I think Michelle's going to have a tough time trying to get Marina down because she's going to be taller and longer, and she's not known to be like a good enough grappler and or wrestler like someone like Verna Jandaroba, um, even like Mackenzie Dern. Like Mackenzie Dern had a tough time taking down Rodriguez. But to me, I just think it's going to be another unanimous decision for Rodriguez, probably 29-28 or 30-27. I'd be shocked if Michelle wins, but I mean, she could do it. But I think Rodriguez gets it done. Better striker on the feet, and I think she'll be able to stuff the majority of the takedowns. Um, and Rodriguez always usually looks good in the first and second rounds. She may fade a little bit in the third, but I think she'll be safe. Bets though, overs. I love the overs, and then I also like Rodriguez money line. I mean, I think that's a good parlay piece. Co-main event: Bryce Mitchell versus Dan Ige. This is going to be an interesting fight. Bryce Mitchell, 15-1, 28 years old, 5'10", 70-inch reach, and Dan Ige is 17-6, 32 years old, 5'7", 71-inch reach. So we all know who Bryce Mitchell is. He's a very, very good wrestler. He's got good takedowns. He's got good grappling when he's on top. His cardio is good. He's always going to chain wrestle you down. If he fails the first time, he's going to keep going. He's tough. His striking on the feet, not the greatest. He did surprise Edson Barboza that one time, but that's about it. He didn't. It surprised me too, but he mainly wants to get this fight to the mat. I mean, that's his game plan. He doesn't venture off course. He sticks to his game plan, and that's it. Ige, very good boxing, very durable. He's got good power in his hands, solid wrestling and grappling himself, actually, but he wants to keep it on the feet. That's his bread and butter. And his takedown defense, it's not awful, but it's not amazing either. So this is basically what this breakdown is all about. Do you think Ige will be able to stuff the majority of Mitchell's takedowns and keep this fight on the feet? Because Mitchell's coming in going for takedowns. Oh man. And I see a lot of people on Mitchell, and I totally get it. I think his line's almost minus 200 now. But you know what, guys? I'm gonna be on the Ige side. I'm going with the striker. He's been rolling lately. I know he hasn't been fighting grapplers. Damon Jackson, he is a grappler and wrestler, so that is a good look. But I do think Mitchell is better. So, and Landwehr, that was a great fight. Like I said, he's been looking really good. I know these 3 fights that he lost were against very, very good guys, but lately, I think the momentum is all on the side. And Bryce Mitchell, like, so I know it was against Ilya Taporta, and he's a monster, but I saw some bad stuff in that fight that I didn't like to see from a fighter. He got rocked a couple times on the feet, and then all of a sudden that game plan changed from him. I know he said he was sick and he had a fever and all this stuff, but I'm only going by what I see, and I didn't like it. And if Ige cracks him a couple times like Ilya did on the feet, it could be the same thing. Maybe Mitchell doesn't, he doesn't go for those takedowns as with conviction as he always does. Like a lot of sloppy takedowns. I know we got Ilya down on once or twice, but that was early, and Ilya started taking over. But I'm gonna go Ige here. I think this fight will be close. So I'm gonna go with the dog. I like the striker. I usually lean the striker if it's a very close fight. I can see this pick going very bad, but also picked Nelson last time and look what happened. So I'm gonna go with Ige to get this one done by a very close decision. But if Ige can rock him a couple times early in the first round, stuff those takedowns, I think he wins this fight. So I'm going to look at this at the live betting spot too here. Um, but I'm going to stay away from betting this. It's to me, I think it's going to be tough to bet, but I don't mind anybody picking one way or another. You can look at the overs though. Ige is very, very durable. He's very tough to get out of there. Never been finished. There you go. That's all I gotta say. Look at the overs in this fight all day. And the main event, which is gonna be kind of the same thing here. Rafael Fiziev versus Mateus Gamrot. Fiziev is 12-2, 30 years old, 5'8", 71.5-inch reach. Gamrot, 22-2, 32 years old, 5'10", 70.5-inch reach. So Fiziev, very, very good striker, very technical, good kicks, good power in his hands. He's got good body kicks. He's very durable. He's very tough. His takedown defense is very good. But as the fight goes on, he can kind of slow down with his volume. If he gets into like these brawls early on, Like, you could totally see that his volume slows down a bit. He doesn't gas out, though. He's gonna be in this fight. He's not gonna quit, but you can just tell his volume slows down. Gamrot, very, very good wrestler. Very good chain wrestler. He's gonna keep going for those takedowns and keep going and keep going. He always pushes forwards. He forward. He uses his striking more so to set up takedowns. He can be rocked a couple times. We've seen him get dropped, but he pops right back up every time. And he does have some power in his hands, but he just has that overhand right. That's all he does is like just right, right, right. That's what he does. But he uses that to set up takedowns. But again, like I said, this is almost like the same thing from the last fight I just said. Do you think Fiziev will be able to stop Gamrot's takedowns and relentless pressure that he's gonna do because that's his game? He wants to get this fight to the mat. And I'm gonna say this is gonna be a close fight. I will say that first. But I'm gonna go with the striker here again. I'm gonna go with Fiziev. I think he's gonna be able to land some very good shots on Gamrot. Gamrot's striking defense isn't the greatest, so Fiziev does need to stop the takedowns early, land some good shots on him, maybe hurt him, maybe question him, shooting those takedowns too. But as the fight goes on too, Gamrot's takedowns are very sloppy sometimes too. So he shoots from like 6 feet away sometimes and he doesn't get it, but he'll continue to try, but they get sloppier and easier to stop. So I think early on, Fiziev just needs to be on his toes for the takedowns. But I think as the fight goes on, I do like Fiziev to actually get the knockout. I know Gamrot has not been finished, but he's been rocked a lot. He's been knocked down a lot. And I think Fiziev is the guy to do it. Maybe later in the fight, I'm going to say third round knockout, but I wouldn't be shocked if this does go over and go to decision too. So that's what I will look at. Either money line, whatever you like. It's pretty close to a pick 'em, I believe. Well, actually, no. I think Fiziev is like minus 160 range now. So money's coming in on Fiziev right now, but you can look at the over if it's set at like 2.5. I would love the over if that is 3.5, maybe. So depending on what they set it, I don't know if they're going to do 4.5. I'd be shocked if they did, but it is what it is. But give me Fiziev to win by knockout. Why not? I think he's going to get it done. All right, guys, those were the fights. We had 11 of them. So thank you, everybody, for watching. I always appreciate it. Please hit that like button on your way out. Make sure you subscribe, turn on the notifications so you know when my videos come out, whenever we do our live streams, all that good stuff. And speaking of live streams, Thursday night's going to be another one that me and Cody do. I believe it's going to be on my channel this week. So definitely, like I said, notifications, notifications, notifications. We always flip flop each week too. So, also Saturday we're gonna do our pre-fight show as always. I don't remember what channel again, but again, notifications. Definitely do that, and don't forget to leave comments below on your favorite bets, your favorite fights, what fights you're looking forward to for this card, all that good stuff. So, like I said, hope everybody enjoyed the fights last week. Hope everybody enjoys the fights this week. And until next time, happy fight night.